Ever since I was a little kid, everything was a race to me. And it started off in kindergarten, where you'd race to the lunchroom, so you got to eat lunch first. Then I'd go into racing in the school ground against anyone else who wanted to. Then that turned into bikes and skateboards. Then I got older and more responsible, and that turned into dirt bikes. Then I got even more responsible, and I got a driver's license, so it turned into cars. I bought my first street bike when I was 16 years old. And immediately after I bought it, I started looking into what it would be like going on these street bike races, how fast these guys actually go, what they do. So I started looking into TT races. And every time I did, it always came back to the same thing, which was the Isle of Man TT. So today I'm going to explain to you about the origins of the Isle of Man, the bikes that they use, and the dangers that come with it. The Isle of Man is located between Ireland and the UK. It's a United Kingdom colony, but it's self-governed, but I'm not here to get into that. It was created in the race was created in 1907 by the Autocycle Club. What started off as a 15-mile lap on a dinky old bike turned into a 6-lap, 226.5-mile race that left riders on the road for around an hour and a half, traveling at an average speed of 135 miles an hour. The racing is divided up into 2 weeks. The first week is dedicated for the riders to practice the course, learn it, get it down, know it like the back of their hand. Then the second week is split up for racing. Now, as opposed to when it started, in 1907, the bikes they use now are completely different. Now it's common to see bikes like Honda, Suzuki, Ducati, Yamaha, even Norton V4s. Now all these bikes are different, they handle in different ways, and that's why throughout the entire week the races have been split up into classes. Now there are 4 main classes and a couple on the side like sidecar racing, but I don't want to get into those. It starts off with the lightweights, which are 650cc bikes. And these bikes are chosen purely for their agility and quickness. These motors are altered for racing. Then he goes into super stock, which are 100cc bikes that you could just go to your nearest Yamaha dealer and buy for yourself. The only thing that's changed on these bikes from the factory is their suspension and braking to better handle the course. Then there's the super sport bikes. The smallest engine you have in this race, 400 to 600cc. But these bikes handle like no other bike you've ever seen. The final event, however, is the superbike race, often called the senior race. These bikes are 200 horsepower and can reach speeds of over 200 miles an hour. All bikes are allowed to be customized in suspension and braking, and at the end of every year, after the big races are all over, there's a week dedicated where they leave the course closed off, where civilians can come and ride it themselves. However, with more powerful bikes come more terrifying dangers. Ireland and the UK are both known for their rainy climates, which means a wet road, and that's a nightmare for someone on a bike, especially when you're traveling at speeds of up to 200 miles an hour. Catastrophic things happen. An average 2.5 people die in this race every year, and since its creation in 1907, 252 total deaths have been reported. There's also the issue of rider error and fatigue. One slip up in a packed up group of bikes like this can cause you to bump someone or miss a lean and take a wrong angle, and it can lead to your death. So even though this ride has dangers, it's still one of the biggest events in the world, and it's the event you hear about when you think about TT racing. So to recap again, this was started in 1907 by an Autocycle group. Now the bikes have changed since then to become more powerful beasts, but it's just made it a more extreme sport. However, with those bikes comes dangers, and those dangers that can lead to your death. However, I've been to Ireland, and it was an awesome place. And knowing that this is close to Ireland, I would gladly go there and watch these things done. So to end it off, I have a short, like 1 minute video just so you guys can kind of see what it's like.
Business. Oh my goodness, I have not seen anyone save a moment like that in a long, long time.
Me either, goodness me.